I still remember the exact moment I realized she was going to break my heart. It was the last day of the tour. The buses were already running, my bag was packed, and she was standing across the parking lot, crying.
I fucked.
But I didn't know yet that loving her would be the most beautiful mistake of my life. Let me take you back 15 days earlier, before everything fell apart. I was just a boy from a small town, not dramatic, not tragic, just simple. I grew up where everyone knows your name, where dreams feel bigger than the streets you walk on. I didn't have connections, I didn't have money. What I had was grades, hard work, and a scholarship that felt like my only ticket out. When my college selected me for a 15-day educational tour in the capital city, I treated it like a mission. This wasn't a vacation. This was opportunity. I packed 2 shirts, 1 good pair of shoes, and a notebook. That notebook mattered. Because that notebook is where I wrote the first sentence about her. The city was overwhelming. Tall buildings, expensive cars, students wearing clothes that probably cost more than everything I owned. And then, there she was, confident, laughing, surrounded by people. She didn't walk into rooms, she owned them. I didn't know her name yet, but I knew she wasn't from my world, and honestly, I didn't plan to talk to her, but life doesn't care about plans. We met on day 3. At a museum visit. I was standing in front of an old historical map, writing notes, focused, serious, trying to stay invisible. Then a voice said, "Do you actually enjoy this, or are you trying to impress someone?" I turned around. It was her, smiling, not mocking, curious. I panicked a little. "I just like learning," I said. She tilted her head. "That's rare." That was it. That was the moment. She didn't laugh at me. She didn't look bored. She asked me real questions about where I came from, about what I wanted in life. No one had ever asked me those things with real interest. And for the first time in a long time, I felt seen. From that day on, something changed. She started sitting next to me on the bus. She would steal my notebook and read my thoughts. Once she said, "You write like someone who's afraid to waste time." That line stayed with me. We walked through city streets at night, not holding hands, not doing anything dramatic, just talking about her life, about mine. She told me about her father, a powerful businessman, strict, controlling. Everything in her life was planned, including who she would eventually marry. I laughed it off. Because that kind of thing happens in movies, not real life. On day 8, it rained. The whole group ran for shelter near the university campus. We got separated from everyone, just me and her, under one small roof. The rain was loud. The world felt far away. She looked at me and said quietly, "You're different." My heart was beating so loud I thought she could hear it, and then she kissed me. Not dramatic, not wild, soft, certain, like she had already decided. And in that moment, I forgot everything. I forgot I was just a boy from a small town. I forgot she belonged to a world that could crush me. I just knew I didn't want that moment to end. Day 10, everything shifted. We were supposed to visit a corporate office as part of the tour. When we arrived, I saw her freeze. Her father owned the company. I didn't know that, but she did. He was there, waiting, tall, controlled, powerful. He noticed us standing close. He noticed the way she looked at me. And powerful men notice everything. That evening, she didn't reply to my messages. The next morning, she avoided me. By night, she was gone, transferred to another group for the rest of the tour. No explanation, no goodbye, just silence. That silence hurt more than any rejection ever could. I tried to focus on my studies, tried to convince myself it was just a small crush, but it wasn't. It was the way she made me believe I wasn't small. It was the way she read my notebook and said, "You're going to be something big." No one had ever said that to me with such certainty. On day 13, I found something in my bag, a folded paper, a page torn from my notebook. On it, she had written, "I wish I met you in a world that was fair." That sentence destroyed me, because that's when I understood. This wasn't about feelings. This was about power, about class, about families that decide your future before you're old enough to choose it. And I was never going to win against that. Last day, buses were lined up, students hugging, taking photos. And then I saw her, standing near the parking exit, alone. She walked toward me slowly. Her eyes were red. "I fought," she said, just 2 words. "I fought." I believed her. "But I can't break my family," she whispered, "and I can't ask you to fight my battles." My chest felt heavy. I wanted to say I'd stay, that I'd become rich, that I'd prove them wrong. But love isn't a speech competition, and life isn't a motivational video. So I did the hardest thing I've ever done. I smiled and said, "It's okay." It wasn't okay. But I said it anyway. She hugged me, tight, like she was trying to memorize me. Then she stepped back and walked away. No dramatic music, no running after her, just distance, growing. I went back to my small town after that tour. But I wasn't the same. I studied harder, worked harder, not to prove her father wrong, not to impress her, but because for 15 days, someone from a different world believed in me. Years have passed. I don't know where she is now, maybe married, maybe happy, maybe not. But sometimes, when it rains, I remember that roof, that kiss, that notebook. And the girl who made a boy from a small town feel like he wasn't small at all. Some people don't stay in your life forever. They just come for 15 days and change you for the rest of it.